On today's ChurchTechCast.com Q&A show, Twitter, a switcher, ProPresenter 6, and making the easy worship switch. Hi, and welcome again to another episode of the ChurchTechCast.com Q&A show. My name is Paul Allen Clifford. I'm your host. This is the show where every week I answer your church tech questions, and today we've got a bunch of them. So I would love you to ask your questions. So drop me a line, either paul@trinitydigitalmedia.com. Leave a message under the video if you're watching the video, either on trinitydigitalmedia.com or on YouTube. Either one's fine. Or if you're listening to the audio and you're more of a Twitter kind of person, Paul Allencliffe, PaulAlancliffe. So first off, Travis Binge via email asks, thank you for connecting with me via Twitter and giving me your email. I run our church's Twitter account, and our goal is to grow our social media account so that we can start reaching out to our community. We would like to invite community members to our service, share the gospel, and be an encouragement to our followers. We have 40 followers, and I started tweeting every day. Our church is in a small town, Bardstown, Kentucky, and we don't expect to have 4,000 followers or anything. How would you gain enough followers to begin reaching our community? What are some proper ways to engage non-believers on Twitter? How do you become a known church in your community through social media? Anything you can answer or add would be welcome, help, and support. I'm in the midst of getting your book as well. Okay, so Travis, well, let's just go through these one at a time. First off, I don't think that you should limit it to what you think you're going to get, because just because there's a small population in Bardstown doesn't mean that surrounding areas don't have larger populations as well. In fact, it's not far from Louisville, which in Jefferson County proper, it has around 1 million people. So, with that said, I don't think that I would think, well, we're never going to get anyone. Don't think that way. But first thing is I would do a search on Twitter for Twitter users near Bardstown, and I would just start following people. Now, you want to keep your ratios about 1 to 1. So if someone doesn't follow you, after a couple of days, unfollow them. Okay, and just repeat that process over and over again. Follow, unfollow. You only have 2,000 people you can do this with at the beginning. So use those 2,000 seats judiciously. If someone doesn't follow you, then don't feel bad. It's just like introducing yourself to someone new, and maybe they want to get to know you, maybe they don't. Doesn't matter. Just do that. Okay, first thing. Second thing, what you want to do is you want to engage with the felt needs of people. You know, share inspirational quotes. Do something to where people see your Twitter account and they think, oh, great, there's another one from that church. Don't hit them over the head with the gospel. Now, you can mention from time to time that you're a church, but what you want that to be is what Gary Vaynerchuk calls jab, 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 right hook. So a whole lot of valuable stuff, and occasionally mention that you're part of a church. So, for example, right now I'm tweeting about 26 to 28 times a day. 3 of those are things that are promotional. So you see how there's a whole lot of hey, here's something for you for free. Hey, there's this other thing, etc. So that's what I would do. And I think that that's going to be able to help you in what you're trying to do. Jim Fry on Twitter said, do you have a recommendation for multicam live streaming on a church budget? You could either use some software like Wirecast, that would work, or if you wanted to go for hardware, maybe something like the Blackmagic Design Television Studio would be a good entry-level switcher. Not saying that that's going to do everything that you would ever need it to do, but it's a good start. KirkDickinson, in response to my ProPresenter 6 wishlist video, said, "Not sure I understand the want for Instagram or Facebook. Why? I for sure understand the streaming because I've tried in vain to get a stream even to work properly through ProPresenter 5. The built-in browser is inadequate. What are CSV worship orders?" Okay, so Instagram and Facebook. Instagram I've heard as a request from people. And that's because, you know, you take pictures, you put them up, maybe you hashtag it about a church event, so you could have just an automatic feed of that. So that would be a pretty cool feature. Same thing with Facebook, really. You could have all the pictures that are in your church's album show up, and I think that would be a pretty cool feature. Streaming, yeah, that would be great to have. A better browser, also great. CSV, I mean, comma-separated value, so you could create a worship order in Excel or Numbers or the Google Docs Sheets software and just have ProPresenter access that to create your worship order. And that would be pretty cool. So those are the ideas that I've had. Next, I have a question all about the transition from ProPresenter to from Easy Worship to ProPresenter. Let me just boil this down. Basically, this is a question I got today, and it's really long, but I'm going to just cut it down so that we can squeeze it in here in the time I have left on my camera before it stops recording, because I am recording on the DSLR. So he has two problems. First off, when he gets to the end of a song in ProPresenter, it doesn't show the next slide in the stage display. Secondly, if they clear the slides on the main display, it clears on the stage display. How do you get around that problem? So this is actually fairly easy to think. By the way, this was from Max. It's fairly easy to get around once you know this little feature, which I've only discovered in the last couple of months in ProPresenter. Basically, there is a keyboard shortcut, although you can do it with the menu too. The keyboard shortcut just makes it easier. Command 0. You do Command 0, and all of a sudden you no longer have control over the main display. Now you might be thinking, that's bad. No, it's not bad. Because it's a toggle, so you can do Command 0, it's off, Command 0, it's on, and there's a little indicator right by the main display preview window in ProPresenter, so it's pretty obvious. So let's say you're just going along and you want to, in this case, keep the last line of the worship lyrics up from the previous song and then go into the next song so that your band can see that in the confidence monitor. So it's up there, Command 0, you go to the first line in the next song, and they start playing, and then when they start singing, you hit Command 0 again, and it takes the slide that you're on. Easy breezy lemon squeezy, as one of my pastors likes to say. The other issue is if you want to get rid of lyrics on the main screen, but you don't want that to happen on the stage display, it's not going to be as elegant, but it'll still work to get rid of them on the main screen, then Command 0, bring them back on the stage display, and then when they start singing again, Command 0 to bring it back on the main display. So that's basically how that works. So I hope that helped you. I hope that one of those questions was one that you've always wondered, and now you've got the answer to it. If you like this content, don't hesitate to subscribe to my newsletter. Head over to trinitydigitalmedia.com/gifts, GIFTS, and you can get some of the church tech gifts that I have reserved just for you. Until next time, this is Paul Allen Clifford with trinitydigitalmedia.com.